Hello, everyone, and thanks for going another mile with me here at KFGO.com. I'm Joel Heitkamp, host of News and Views. Had a big show on Friday where basically we here at KFGO broke the news about a sad story. What is really a sad story. Brian Sleeper, an officer who died in the line of duty. There's no other way to look at it than that. He died in the line of duty. He was out there apprehending a suspect, somebody who had been fleeing law enforcement, aiding another officer, and in the process of doing just that, this suspect, who was charged for numerous charges, in doing that, Officer Sleeper, Deputy Sleeper, I should say, Burleigh County Deputy Sleeper, had a heart attack and later on died. He died. He left behind a wife, Lana, and some stepchildren, 3 of which, and 1 grandchild. Now, there's a clause in the laws and rules of workforce safety and insurance which allow for there to be a recognition of the stress that police officers and firefighters have to go through. There is. I mean, you know, I'm a radio talk show host, but I don't assume that somebody's going to be pointing a gun at me. But if you're a police officer, you can almost assume that at some point in your career that might happen. If you're a firefighter, you can almost assume that at some point in your life you're going to have to go running into a burning building. That's just the way it is. And so there's a presumption in the clause of workforce safety and insurance that these people are afforded extra protection. And one of those pieces of protection is a death clause. Something bad happens, you know what? That widow or widower is going to get $200,000. In this particular case, Lana Sleeper would have and should have received $200,000 from the state of North Dakota through Workforce Safety Insurance, WSI, formerly known as Workers' Comp. She has been denied that twice. Denied it twice. She had to go get lawyered up. She had to go get a lawyer to try to make the argument of, wait a second here. You owe my family $200,000. He died in the line of duty. Now, Workforce Safety and Insurance is saying, you know what? In accordance with the law that was passed in 1997, he no longer is eligible. One of the reasons they're citing is the fact that he did use tobacco. He used chewing tobacco. He hadn't, his lawyer said today on my show, for over 6 weeks. But yes, Brian did occasionally indulge in chewing tobacco. So we're not going to pay this family the $200,000 because of chewing tobacco. Who put that bill in place? Well, I remember it. I remember it really well. It happened in the 1997 legislative session, and the bill was House Bill 1269. I want you to remember that. House Bill 1269 in the 1997 legislative session. The sponsor of the bill, the prime sponsor of that bill, was then House of Representative member and chairman of the Industry, Business, and Labor Committee, Rick Berg. That's right, it's the same Rick Berg. He's now Congressman Rick Berg from the state of North Dakota. He was doing everything he could in the 95 and 97 session to take rights away from workers. I've told you that on News and Views many times. I also pointed out that now Congressman Rick Berg, then Representative Rick Berg, later on in a later session, came in once the fund got to a great point, got to not quite where it's at today, but got to a nice and real high dollar amount, called for safety grants. Safety grants to be given to certain businesses that would then qualify, one of which was the first to receive that was Goldmark Realty. Who owns Goldmark Realty, folks? You know what? Yeah, you guessed it already, didn't you? Rick Berg owns Goldmark Realty. He got 50 grand back, and Lana Sleeper can't get the 200 grand she needs for a dead husband who died in the line of duty. That got all exposed today on News and Views. It's only going to get fixed one way. It's going to get fixed either during the special session, through legislation, or the governor is going to have to put pressure on Workforce Safety and Insurance to say, grow up, knock it off, change your mind, do what you need to do. Workforce Safety and Insurance is going to look at them and say, the law is the law. We didn't pass the law. Well, you know what? In 1997, Workforce Safety and Insurance was one of the rah-rah cheers for this law. It just didn't happen to be Brian Klipfeld, the head of Workforce Safety and Insurance, that was the head of it then. So don't blame Brian for this law. Blame the person that passed the law, and that's Rick Berg. But what I want to encourage you to do today, right here at KFGO.com, is get a hold of your governor. He's your governor. You know, people like Congressman Berg like to use phrases like North Dakota nice. In North Dakota, we do things right. We do things the North Dakota way. Well, you know what? Lana Sleeper deserves that $200,000. Give the governor a call. 328-2200. 328-2200. Give your local legislator a call. Say, do not let this special session go by without addressing the issue of Lana Sleeper and her 3 children. They deserve the money. Brian's family and his widow deserve the money. And you know what? Let's do things the North Dakota way and really mean it this time. Thanks for going another mile with me. It's been good riding with you. We'll see you on Monday on News and Views.